First Lady Carla Markell, you started out your term as First Lady with a theme of volunteerism, right away with the No Inaugural Ball, a day of service. Yet it still seems that it is the few doing the lion's share for our community, and perhaps it's because of the stress most people are under. What do you think can be done to spread that spirit further within our community to get more people to step up?
I think it's happening. First of all, I do think that we're creating a culture in our schools today where the kids are getting a sense of service from a very early age, and I believe that is going to carry on as they grow up into adulthood and find meaning through their volunteerism work. Our kids have requirements to do volunteer service that we didn't have when we were growing up, and honestly, I think part of it's our generation of people that didn't grow up thinking that way, but I do believe that we're all raising our kids now to think that way and that is going to carry on into their adult lives. So a lot of our schools are incredibly involved. Most of the calls that I get about what can we do to help are from schools and kids who run service clubs. So that really makes my heart feel warm and full to know that our kids are growing up with that mindset.
Volunteerism is critical. It's also a difficult time for nonprofits in our community, especially the arts community. How do you think the arts community and the success of a society, a culture, determines the quality of life for the people who live in our state?
I think the arts and the cultural components of what we have here are huge. It's a way we can attract new businesses to Delaware. People will tell me if they are looking to bring a company here or hire employees, they want to be able to tell them that we have a fantastic, thriving arts community. They don't need to go to Philadelphia or New York or Baltimore or D.C. to have great arts here. We have our own theater company that's excellent. We have Grand Opera House. We have DCAD, the new art school, which offers great classes. On and on, the beautiful Delaware Art Museum, and so much is accessible right here. And our corporations do more probably than other states do to make sure that those arts organizations are vital, because it does help them keep employees here, attract great people to want to be here, and certainly for Jack or the economic development team to want to attract new companies here. That's a big part of what keeps them wanting to be here.
The end of the legislative season is always one of those highly charged political tones. I'm curious, do you consider yourself a political person, a political junkie, or are you political by default, by marriage?
I'd say more by default than by marriage. It is interesting to me. I've always, before Jack, before I was dating Jack, I worked the polls and I was interested in presidential politics, probably more than local politics. So I've always had an interest in just trying to make sure that we had good people in good positions, but I would never call myself a political junkie. That's not the part of what I enjoy with all of this. What I enjoy really is trying to make a difference and help people in my own little way, with what I'm involved with. But I try to stay out of a lot of the politics.
So, but this legislative season, I think, was far different than any I have ever observed. Do you think that's the mark of the Markell administration?
I know you're probably going to, assume that I would say that it is the mark of the Markell administration, and I honestly do believe it is. I mean, Jack has a way of building relationships and diffusing tensions just to be able to get great things done. It's part of his nature. It's what he's always been able to do wherever he's worked and whatever he's done. We have I think we happen to have a fantastic cabinet right now, and they're just very competent in terms of organizing their thoughts and presenting things in a very rational, functional way. And they've developed great relationships with our legislators. We have some excellent legislators and people who really want to accomplish things. And I think they all worked well together. I think really all of Delaware should feel very proud compared to other states and the challenges they're facing. We are getting amazing things done here, and I'm really proud.
You say that it's about the relationships your husband's able to build, but your relationship with him has to be relationship number one. Do you actually have conversations about things that are going on in the state? Do you have to sometimes, when something comes up about charter schools, you're a charter school mom grad, so do you have to step back and, hold back a little bit so that you don't unduly influence?
I never hold back. But, Jack and his team are excellent at sort of synthesizing all the facts, all the opinions, all the information, and then coming up with what seems most fair. And I think that's the beauty of what this team can do. I mean, it's not like they're taking any one opinion and going with that one opinion. So even if it's mine, or his mother's, or anybody's, he synthesizes and puts all the information into sort of a collective pool of thought, and then they go with what feels to be what consensus brings to be the right answer. And but he values my opinion, and that's great. And we do talk about certain things, and it's very constructive.
What's easier though, being a candidate's wife, or actually what's harder, a candidate's wife or the governor's wife?
I think being a candidate's wife is harder because you never know what the opponent is going to sling your way or how destructive the campaign might actually be. As the governor's wife, it feels great to be able to really accomplish things and get a lot of things done and be able to help the people, and that's really what it's all about.
Looking 2 years out then, what's on your to-do list as First Lady?
I'm just going to keep working on what I'm doing. I feel like you know, I'm focused on trying to build volunteerism in the state, but also trying to constructively connect different corporations and individuals to nonprofits that need help and need assistance. So I feel like my role as a connector is really very valuable in this position. So I'm just going to keep doing the things I'm doing, and also be careful not to spend myself down too much because of my kids and the other responsibilities I have at home. And I'm always true to myself with that. I try not to take on too much because I want to make sure that I'm feeling good and not overly taxed, because nobody wins when mom is not in a good place.
So if we were to stop by the Markell household on a weekend, what would be going on? What would be on the to-do list there?
Well, it depends on the day. It could be that we're all in our sweatpants and t-shirts just relaxing, reading the newspaper, or more likely, I've got a list of things that Jack and I need to get done while he's home, because he's not home all that often. I work in the garden some at home. We have a dog and a cat and a fish, and so we have our animals. We often take walks down to the river, or, you know, just around the neighborhood, and spend time together, which is really nice. I cook a lot. I love to cook, and right now our garden's starting to produce a lot of great vegetables, zucchini and basil, and, you know, things are coming up. So it's fun. I mean, we have great neighbors, and we all socialize together, which is nice too. On a weekend, it's not unusual for us to have an impromptu get together and have people over for dinner. It's very easy. It's really comfortable.
Well, DFM is thrilled that you put us on your to-do list. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.